I would like to show you, because I am aware that it is late, about what we are trying to do, what we are doing for many years. The goals are teaching, research, and dissemination of knowledge in the field of interdisciplinary studies on gender and women's situation in the context of political, economic, social, and cultural situation in the country. This I want to strongly emphasize because at the end of my presentation, I want to inform you how changing political situation is changing our interests and opportunities. Another goal of my chair, it was dissemination of knowledge, building contacts with institutions of third sector, especially with NGOs, but also with media and politicians. Because if we want to influence to some extent situation in the country, the contact with NGO, media and politician is crucial, because in another case we will just stay in the frame and among the walls of the university. Also, it was a question to take part in the public discourse on women's situation, and also men's situation and men's role in society. This activity was not only undertaken by faculty members, but also by students. And I consider that it is extremely important, because these young people are this new social capital which can influence, reimagine situation and role of women and of men in society. Besides, very important, it was creation of international relation, which was possible because of my work engagement in different institutions. I am just giving example about what were classes, seminars, which were taught at the university and which I launched at university. First of all, it was question of creation of specialization, sociology of gender, which was giving master in sociology at the University of Warsaw. And topics which were undertaken by students were sex and power in private and public spheres, cultural, psychological, sociological, and political science perspectives, sexuality, and different dimensions of social order. Gender and age as factor of social exclusion and inclusion in education and on labor market. This I would like to stress, because you talk mainly on role of young people, which of course is also important in Poland, in Eastern and generally in Europe, but our demographic situation is different than in many Asian and African countries. Groups of older people is growing very rapidly, and it is special but very serious problem how to keep these people and to maintain them active on labor market. It is something what make difference between Europe and other continents. Important also what was undertaken as a part of seminars, which was connected with research, women and men in grassroots initiatives in Poland, in the local context, and also gender and age as factors shaping marketing communication. research. And a lot of attention was paid to academic situation. It means gender identity of students, their perception of feminism, academic careers of women and men, and intergenerational similarities and differences. In this moment, I would like to stress that in Poland is not question to have access to a university education, because since 1980, women constitute more than half of university students population, and also graduates. It is, and even now we are observing more and more people, women among faculty members. I would like, and I am very much opposing interpretation that it means is less discrimination and that we are becoming so equal. Because we have to study academy as a place of research in the broader context of economy in the country. Because in Poland, after the transformation, political transformation from communist system to free market and democratic system, simply academy as such became less attractive for place of research because of lack of funds or very limited funds. It means men were leaving academy and this vacuum was filled by women. And therefore I want to stress this problem very strongly, because very often we are interpreting the increase of number of women, it means lack of discrimination or diminishing discrimination. In reality, it's necessary to make into account the context in which these changes take place. Another issue which was uh, subject of research and also of publication, women and men in political and economic elites in industrialized countries, the book which was prepared by international team, and it was highly appreciated by readers when after publication. Another role of women's organization in civic societies, women on the labor market, mobility of Polish academicians, because we witnessed situations that number of Polish young, especially young scientists left Poland, especially moving to the UK and the United States. Also, it is a question underrepresentation of women in hard sciences, which is up to now a big problem. Another, reconciliation of work and family, and but especially by highly skilled people. And it was question of, as I mentioned, international cooperation in research, because number of the studies were conducted in the frame of European projects, and even not, they were in cooperation with scientists from other countries, what I consider is extremely important. A number of speakers who made presentation before me also stress importance of international cooperation, because this allow us to identify context and factors which play important role. Financing, it is another problem which was already mentioned by some speakers, and I would like to say that the problem on financing was not solved. It means it was a question how to get money, and it was some from University of Warsaw, sometimes from Ministry of Higher Education, from different foundation, foreign foundation, and where some were financed by the European Commission. It means it is a general problem of UNESCO chair. I don't expect that you will read what is on this slides. It is a number of publications which were prepared by people working and cooperating with UNESCO chair, and their focus was especially put on women in politics and their access to power and access to play important role in politics, or to be so-called tokens in politics. Another, it was a question women as leaders of women's organization, what was also important. Women in rural environment. Another, it was role of quota system in parliamentary election, and this was published in the volume prepared by the Global Network of UNESCO Chair on Gender, which was prepared, and it was by a network run by Professor Gloria Bonder, who plays important role in bringing together number of UNESCO chair. Another, it is a question, publication about lone mothers, especially these women who are migrating to Europe, and they are very often having children, and is the question how to help them and how they manage in this new environment. Another, it is a question of topic, it is women as owners and senior managers of enterprises in post-communist Poland. Another, it is building political representation in post-communist European countries. And also I would like, it was some publication which I put on the slide for today's presentation, and also some recent project. It was Polish-Norwegian research gender equality at university, and it was not only how many women are among faculty members, but it was a question how national grants are allocated, because all of us know that if we have no money, we cannot make to conduct research. If we cannot conduct research, we cannot publish. It means we cannot expect to be promoted to a higher position, not having publication. And another, and also it was a question of graduate study, doctoral studies. As you know very well, it is a problem generally in many countries that now we are observing massification of doctoral studies, when at the same time we know that these people probably will not get proper jobs which will be proper from the point of view skills of the students. It means it is some voice in discussion about profile of higher education. Another project which I also mentioned in some way before, it is a project of the European Commission, Gender and Health Impact of Policy Extending Working Life in Western Countries. It is, as I mentioned before, extremely important how to keep older people and not and especially women, because in a number of countries, and unfortunately also in Poland, women are can retire earlier than men, and in reality, because they work shorter time, their pension are much lower than men's pension. It means they are becoming a member of people of very poor, and it is and now these books are already some published, where also they are chapter concerning Poland, situation in Poland. And I would like also to say that now in the COVID time, if we can say, we are conducting study once as a part of the cross-national project Values and Crisis, how men and how women are experienced by lockdown, by uncertainty on job market. And it is, if we talk about international study. From another side, I would like to say that we are observing in Poland some type of uh, growing gap between society and politics. It means if we talk about university, we have already on a few universities, of course, including University of Warsaw and also some special programs how to work at university to prevent discrimination at university. And these programs can be found also on the pages of the university. It is activity undertaken by universities. From other side, atmosphere in which we are working become unfriendly, because from 2015, Poland is governed by the rightist populist party, and during the electoral campaign before parliamentary election, Polish president talked that gender it is ideology. It is, and also Polish Catholic Church, who is very conservative, considers that gender is some concept which is against Catholicism, which is prevailing denomination in Poland. Also, it is a question of LGBT. Also, such study now I am conducting in the frame of the project of the European Commission, when also was told by top politicians that LGBT, it is just ideology, not people. I want to say that I am quoting this in this moment. It means, and you can just ask me what people are doing, because I just told about university, which demonstrates some time on position in a case of gender equality. I just try to present you what is a governmental position and what is happening. We can just say that we are now launch study what is happening during COVID pandemic, because now the government launched new law making abortion more difficult than it was before. It means almost it is impossible to have abortion, even it is found by doctors that the child will be handicapped, disabled. And I want to say that at the same time, As a reaction to this regulation, which took place, was launched this new law in fall of 2020. There were huge demonstrations in Poland when participants of this demonstration went in hundreds thousand people, and in 600 places in Poland. It means not only in big cities, but also in small towns. Who participated? Participated young women, participated also young men, but also older people. And older people, asked by journalists why they are taking part in the demonstration and the protest, they used to answer, we are doing this for our grandchildren or great grandchildren. It means situation is now it is as well I mentioned, growing gap among attitudes, and I am not quoting now because it's no time, about attitudes toward abortion, toward equality, which we find in a number of studies conducted over time. And from other side, we have this regulation which are going against women's interests. I mentioned this regulation concerning abortion, but we have to also say that it is a strong statement from the government side that women should take care of family, even they are educated, even more than men. Now, if we talk about young generation, it means the conclusion is such that we are following what is happening in Poland on a level of research, and we are collecting documents what is happening. But I generally think that when we move to a more abstract level, I think that in all countries we have to study to what extent government is friendly or unfriendly, and what kind of law is launched in different countries in different periods of time. I would like to thank in this moment.